The New York Yankees went into the 2021 season with very high expectations after a very up and down 2020 season. Many, including myself, thought that the shortened season of just 60 games due to the global pandemic had to do with the Yankees' struggles. However, when the 2021 season got underway, it looked as if the 2020 season was a red flag for things to come, and we just ignored it. The Yankees were only 46-43 at the end of the first half, far short of their expectations going into the season. It's led to people like myself screaming like this. This team right now, what the is this? You guys swept the White Sox not that long ago, and since then, 3-10 in the last 13 games. You're a fourth place team right now. I was low on the Red Sox going into the season, and okay, I have to take my L there, and also I have to take my L for being high on the Yankees, regardless of their manager, who I've had all my problems with. I'm glad none of that aged well, though. The whole time, we were very pissed off at Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. Some even said that this team needs to sell at the deadline, something I was very 50-50 about. But since the All-Star break, they are now 29-9 and currently have their longest winning streak, which is 12 by the way, since the days of Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. Why are they turning things around now? Let's stick around. So before we go any further, if you like what you're seeing from me so far and want to hear from you more, be sure to leave a like. It really helps out. It only takes 1 second to. If you could please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell for more sports content from me, that'd be highly appreciated, as I'm almost at 700 subscribers. And if you want to follow me on social media, the links are in the description. I will follow you back. Let's start with Giancarlo Stanton, the team's prize star acquisition from December of 2017, after he was the National League reigning MVP while hitting the most home runs in a season since Barry Bonds hit 73 and Sammy Sosa hit 64 in 2001. Stanton was still very good in 2018 as he hit 38 home runs and 100 RBIs. Definitely not as spectacular as 2017, but don't you think that'd be ridiculous to expect him to repeat that? Since then though, he's had a very hard time staying healthy. He has been a productive player when healthy though, but his inability to stay healthy for much of his time with the Yankees has gotten the fan base to turn on him and hate the fact that he's making $25 million a year. Although he was the team's best postseason hitter last year, but just injuries have really derailed his time with the Yankees. But at least they're not derailing him now. This year he got off to a slow start, but then he was almost like the 2017 version of himself in late April to early May before he got hurt again. When he got hurt again, it was like, oh, this was inevitable. When he came back from the injury later in May, he was not good. He had a pretty good June though, but he struggled really badly in July. This month though, he has been on an absolute tear. Look at these numbers that he's putting up in the month of August. Crazy! Stanton is obviously not the only reason for the turnaround though. We have to talk about Anthony Rizzo. He did make an immediate impact but has gone hitless the last 5 games before going 1 for 4 in this game against the A's. The Yankees are 14-1 with him in the lineup though. Having a left-handed bat in the lineup absolutely does make a difference. Now we have to go on to Luke Voight, who many, including myself, thought that his days with the Yankees look like they may be numbered now with Rizzo's arrival and Voight struggling with injuries all season. But when Rizzo hit the COVID IL earlier this month, Voight came back with a vengeance. Although this game, for him not to start, I guess the Yankees just wanted to keep him mad, I don't know. Because he seems to do better when his job is on the line. Next thing I want to talk about is the fundamental baseball that they've been playing. When was the last time the Yankees were a team that stole bases? It's been years. Since the All-Star break though, this team is actually 3rd in the league in stolen bases. Before the All-Star break, they were dead last. Stolen bases do happen much less frequently in the modern era as the game has shifted more towards an analytical direction, but the way the Yankees are stealing bases now, unlike before, this definitely tells me that analytics is not something you should overly depend on. Of course, you can use them for data, but you just can't overly rely on them. I don't know of a world where stolen bases are a bad thing. They take away double play opportunities and get runners in scoring position. How is that a bad thing? Anyone want to explain? If the Yankees are winning more while stealing a lot more bases, something tells me that there's still very much a place for stealing bases in the game today. How about Tyler Wade stealing second, and then an errant throw got him to third, which got Aaron Judge to drive him in? Good things happen when you steal, and Judge has stolen more bases this year than he has since 2017. Judge has been the one bright spot in the Yankees lineup, even during the time the team just looked completely lost. He may never be a 300 hitter, but he is hitting 287, which is a career high for him. And he's got a 381 on base percentage too. And most of all, he actually hasn't been hurt this year. He did get COVID, that did suck. However, no injuries up to this point in the season. Sounds like a miracle, right? He hasn't had a fully healthy season since 2017. We know when he is actually fully healthy, he is an MVP caliber player. Hopefully, with the whole staying healthy thing, I did not just speak too soon, but at least for now, he hasn't been injured yet this year, and I love it. Let's also talk about the fact that they're not overly relying on home runs. Now, don't get me wrong, I love home runs too. I will always jump and cheer when my guy hits one. But that being said, it can't be your only way to drive in runs. That's not how you win when the stakes are at their highest. You may be thinking, well, the 2009 Yankees led the league in home runs. You know what else they did though? They led the league in on-base percentage, they were second in batting average, they were first in pretty much every major statistical category. They also had a great balance of lefties and righties, they even had switch hitters. That team was just really well rounded. They also didn't strike out much. Although one thing that has caught me by surprise to find out about the Yankees though is the fact that they've actually struck out more since the All-Star break than in the first half of the season. However, this team has also hit into less double plays since the All-Star break. They're finding holes now. You know what else? Since the All-Star break, the Yankees are 6th in sac flies. At the All-Star break, they were just 24th. Also about the home runs, this team went into this first game against the A's just 16th in home runs after the All-Star break. They were 10th at the break. See? Not everything has to be a home run. The Yankees did hit 3 in this game though, I absolutely love it. Shout out Joey Gallo. That's the best way to tell the ump F you after he just screwed you over in your previous at bat. We all saw it, that was clearly a ball. Come on, ump. How about you learn the strike zone before umpiring the game? But Aaron Boone, even though I may have my problem with you, good job sticking up for your guy. At least you're good at that for the most part. He hasn't been great at that at times this year, but he had his guys back in this game. Absolutely love this ejection from him. I still don't think that highly of as a manager though. This team should be winning more than they lose, no matter who's managing, with the amount of talent that they have. But I will give Aaron Boone credit for now for that ejection. But if the Yankees win the World Series, I know that'll mean they keep him. You know what though? I don't care if winning the World Series means that this team has to have a deaf mute manage them for the next 10 years. I'll still rather win the World Series all day, every day. And also I gotta shout out Brett Gardner and of course Giancarlo Stanton. As I said before, he's been swinging a red hot bat this month. We also have to talk about the pitching. That was not so bad in the first half, but it's definitely been better for the most part in the second half. Garrett Cole sure hasn't been better since not being able to use sticky stuff anymore. Although he did pitch well in his last 2 starts. I'm definitely happy about that. But the Yankees as a team, they were 11th in ERA at the All-Star break. They're 2nd now. Their whip was great at the All-Star break, but slightly better now. 228 opponent batting average at the All-Star break, 218 after the All-Star break. And we've seen some guys we did not expect to have an impact on this team doing great things. Before I get to those guys though, I want to talk about Jameson Tyone and Aroldis Chapman real quick. So about Jameson Tyone, I'll make it quick with him. He's someone we did expect to have an impact as a middle of the rotation guy, although he had a very rough first half. His struggles have mostly been on the road though. This game, yes, he did get roughed up by the A's in Oakland, but he was great for much of the second half, just not this time. Hopefully he will be able to bounce back. Aroldis Chapman though, yes, he's definitely struggled. There's no denying that. He was pretty much unhittable in the first 2 months of the season. Then he imploded for a little bit. He got it back together and then hit the IL. The 11 games before he hit the IL though, he only gave up 1 run in his last 11 appearances before that. Recently though, yes, he has been a nightmare. He's been difficult to trust. He did at least get the job done this time for his 300th career save. Even while he's been roughed up though, since coming off the IL and has lost command with his fastball, let's just keep this in mind. He was having a rough time around this time of the year in 2017 as well, and he got it back together for the last month of the season. Another thing to keep in mind, if you really don't want him as the closer that badly, the team blew 5 saves during his absence. So, really, he is the Yankees closer, period. Maybe if he really does start to struggle, fine, you can take him out of the closer role for a week to let him figure it out. Just not for the whole season, unless whoever does step in that role just absolutely shines and Chapman just never does figure it out. I also want to mention Wandi Peralta. Boy, has he been a gem. That was such a great trade that Brian Cashman made. Wandi Peralta's been excellent for the Yankees. Meanwhile, the Giants DFA'd Mike Tauchman, who the Yankees traded for Wandi Peralta. Also, who would have thought that Jonathan Loaizaga would be as lights out as he's been this year? Look at this. I also have to give Jordan Montgomery a shout out. He has a 3.20 post All-Star break ERA. He has really turned his season around. He still doesn't have great control though. He's had more walk problems in the second half than the first half, and he's striking out less batters, yet he's finding ways to not give up runs. He does have an excellent chase rate, also a solid whiff rate. He doesn't throw very hard, and his spin rate is nothing crazy, but he's able to make guys miss. Did anyone expect Nestor Cortez to be the beast that he is now? He has never had an ERA better than 5.67 at any point in his career, and this year it's 2.56. He never had a whip better than 1.545, and his whip now is 1.065. Pretty unbelievable, right? Although he was definitely better in the first half, but still, to have the season that he's had, no one could have expected this. Joely Rodriguez and Clay Holmes, though, they've been very impressive since coming over to the Yankees. I'm not so sure how long that'll hold up, but at least for now, I will enjoy it. Hey, Yankees are on a roll now. It's a great thing that they didn't sell. Just as long as they are able to keep this up, though. Right now, they're only 4 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays. Do I think they can catch the Rays? Yes. Do I think that they will, though? I don't know. It's definitely possible, though. I don't think it's a guarantee, though, because the Rays are still playing really well themselves. I definitely think the Yankees can beat the Rays in the ALDS if they happen to play each other, which right now it's looking like they will. But my only fear is the fact that the Rays might outsmart the Yankees, even though the Yankees have played more fundamental baseball as of late. But man, if the Yankees actually win the World Series this year, I am not putting any bets on it, but if they do, oh man, what a DVD that would be. Talking about how bad they were and how inconsistent they were throughout the first half. It looked like a completely lost season. The first half, it wasn't just 1 month, it wasn't just 2 months, it was an entire 3 months or 3.5 months where they were just very inconsistent. So I think it's very reasonable to have thought in the first half that this season is just completely lost. I don't think there's any way you could have seen the Yankees just suddenly stealing bases in the second half of the season, just suddenly finding holes to manufacture runs. We know the Yankees have talent, but just the way they've turned their season around, I find it pretty hard to imagine anyone seeing it happen the way it's happened. But it's definitely been enjoyable. I'm glad I can finally make videos where I'm not just screaming at the camera anymore and be able to just be in a good mood. So that'll do it for now. Thank you so much for sticking around. Hope you consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell if you still haven't done that yet. And also, if you can let me know your thoughts in the comments, that'd be much appreciated as well. I'll be glad to chat with you guys. So that'll do it for now. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time. Go Yankees. Peace.